Are you looking for the ultimate wireless mic at the best price point? Then look no further, as we will be doing an audio test between the Rode Wireless Pro, the Sony ECM-W3, the Hollyland Lark M2, the Godox Virso M2, and of course the DJI Mic 2. All the wireless mics range anywhere from the most affordable, starting at just under $180, to the most expensive at just under $500. Before we get into this juicy comparison, hey, I'm Olive, your host here at Versus, and thanks to Hide.me for sponsoring this video. Come to the library to test the ASMR capabilities of these mics. Do you guys hear that? But in all seriousness, you guys are going to want to hear these mics in different scenarios and locations. The Sony has a 20 Hz to 20 kilohertz frequency range, and it has a maximum SPL of 120 decibels, so feel free to raise that voice. The Godox includes a -6 decibel safety track to prevent overdrive, and you're also able to insert a micro SD card for another 256 gigabyte of storage. The DJI Mic 2 now has 32-bit float, so it ensures clear sound no matter the audio levels, which means that I could whisper into the mic like this, or shouting into the mic like this! The 32-bit float ensures that the audio is still usable. The Rode Wireless Pro also has the ability to shoot in 32-bit float for over 40 hours. Should we do some testing? Should we do some screaming? Let's do it. Get ready. So, how do I sound? The Hollyland has 48 Hz 24-bit audio format for accurate sound capture. Its signal-to-noise ratio of 70 decibels helps to minimize background noise. So now we're in a slightly busier environment, and we're going to test out all of these mics. We've already had a brief listen to the DJI and the Rode, as you just heard me shouting a second ago. But yeah, this is basically what the Rode sounds like. What are we thinking? What do we feel about the Rode in a busy environment? As for the Hollyland, it has a maximum SPL of 115 decibels. It also has intelligent noise cancellation, which makes it absolutely ideal for situations like this. The Sony has 8 GB of internal memory, and it's able to store up to 14 hours of uncompressed 24-bit 48 Hz audio. It also has an SPL of 120 decibels, so I'm thinking it's probably sounding pretty good in this environment. What do we think? The Godox, on the other hand, only has an SPL of 110 decibels, so slightly lower than the rest of the microphones. Therefore, I'm excited to see how it's going to perform in busy environments. So we've already had a slight listen to the DJI and the Rode. What do you guys think? Which one sounds better? This is generally just how they sound, so let's move on to another one. All right, so now that we have tested out all of the mics, let's do a full-on overview. After analyzing all of the footage, with the DJI in a quieter environment like the library in this case, although background noise is extremely minimal, the audio remains slightly muffled, which was a shock to me. In busier environments such as outside, the DJI actually performs pretty decently, and the new 32-bit float for sure makes a positive impression here. When it comes to the Rode, I felt that it was actually the clearest out of the lot. I mean, it also had some struggles, such as having prominent background noise at times, but overall it's a strong performer, and no wonder it's a top seller. Sony's performance also isn't bad, as it generally did a decent job. There were certain moments when I feel it could have sounded clearer, but overall the audio was generally smooth, and although background noise can be quite prominent, it does remain controlled. What I noticed about the Godox is that it always sounds quieter than the rest, and I can't quite figure out why that is. However, I have to say that for being on the more affordable side, it does produce pretty clear audio that's 100% usable, and sometimes even better than the bigger brand names. However, it does really struggle in busier environments as it becomes quite muffled. Finally, the Hollyland started off really well in quieter environments. However, when we stepped outside with it into a busier environment, it became a slight disaster. The intelligent noise cancellation it has does so well, but not in a good way, as the sound is insanely muffled. So now we'd like to test the situation out where you would have wind coming at you the entire time. Just to be completely fair, we've brought a fan into this scenario, because with the fan, the strength and the consistency of the fan will always remain the same. Therefore, it's a fair comparison for all of the mics. You're listening to the DJI Mic 2 right now, so I don't know, you can tell me, how does it sound? I will do an overview at the end, but right now we're just testing it out. So now we have the Godox. Just gonna speak to you guys a little bit and see what we think about this one in the intense wind. It's not actually intense, it's on setting 1. So this could get even crazier, but yeah, we're just keeping it on setting 1 for this one. So what do we think? What do we think? How is the Godox doing? All right, so here we have the Hollyland Lark M2 in the wind. It's got its massive wind muff on. As you can see, it's quite a big one. How do we sound? How do we like it? I feel like it is quite a nice mic. It's tiny, but when you do put the wind muff on, it, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know, I'm not vibing with that, but how is the sound quality? Because that's what's important. Right, here is the Sony with its little wind muff over here. And if you're wondering why I'm wearing a coat, well, it's actually freezing, so I had to dress up for the occasion. But more importantly, how do we feel about the Sony in the wind? Is it performing well? I don't know. I'm excited to watch the video later and analyze it. But what do you think? Finally, we have the Rode Wireless Pro. What is this one sounding like? I'm very, very curious to review all of these and see which one's the best, because I honestly cannot tell. I mean, you cannot tell just by looking at microphones, right? So this analysis will be super fun, and make sure to keep watching because I'm gonna go into a full deep review in just a moment. In constant direct wind, the DJI does a pretty fantastic job. The wind muff does excellently to protect the mic, and the sound is very crisp and clear. The Godox also does a decent job as the sound is generally clear and completely usable. On the other hand, the Hollyland does give off a bit of a muffled sound, and although the noise cancellation is fighting hard to keep the wind off of the mic, it's slightly failing as we can hear the wind hit the mic from time to time. Although the Sony performs well by giving us clear audio, the background noise is definitely more prominent than the rest. Finally, the Rode gives off pretty great audio as it's clear, smooth, and it may be my favorite, in this specific scenario at least. So it's finally time to test out the transmission range on these mics. We're gonna start off with the DJI Mic 2, and apparently this has a range of up to 250 meters, which is pretty wild. We have some markings here on the ground. We're at Tempelhofer Feld, which is a pretty cool location here in Berlin. It used to be at an old airport. And I'm gonna use this scooter to drive all the way up with me, like my back facing you guys, and then I'm going to also come back this way, so we'll see how the transmission is whilst I'm facing away compared to when I'm facing you. Okay, so we're setting off, following the red marks, and Emmanuel is going to tell me once he cannot hear me anymore on the camera. So I've just passed 100 meters. That is some great stuff right there, you guys. All right, okay, well, we're about to hit 100 meters, so we've now hit 100. Interference after 100 meters. Can you still hear me? Okay. About to reach 100 meters. So after sitting down and analyzing all of the footage, we found that on pretty much every mic, the interference started past 50 meters when I'm facing away from the camera. But now let's take a look at how well they perform when I'm facing towards the camera. Loud and clear. So they're not lying. It is legit. The transmission range is at 250. When facing towards the camera, the DJI could go up to around 310, 320 with slight interference, and it sounded perfect at 250 meters. Couple of interferences, but let's see how about at 150, because that's actually their claim. How is it here?
Very clear.
Okay, so at 150 we're good, which is fair because that's what they said. Sony managed to go up to 200 meters, although they claimed the transmission range is only at 150 meters, so that was impressive. Clear. Crystal clear, guys, crystal clear. I'm telling you, Godox, you know, it's doing pretty well. It should change some stuff on its specs. I'd say at 300 meters, it became very clear, and at 250 meters, it was crystal clear. 130 meters on the road. Wow, that is low, you guys, considering they claimed 250 was their transmission range. Huh. The Rode actually shocked me as it did the worst and could not even stand up to its claim of 250 meters as it could only reach just about 130 meters. So if you're needing a mic that works well at a distance, well then the Rode definitely isn't the right one for you. Okay, and now is it very clear now?
Yeah, now it's clear.
Okay, so 200 very clear.
Yeah. The Hollyland could still be heard at around 250 meters with a lot of interference and pretty clear at 200 meters.
You can get the entire package for $349. These prices are all going to be at the time of this recording, so please always make sure to take a look and see if anything has changed. If you would like to just go for the transmitter and the receiver, you can get that at $219, or you can just get one transmitter for $99. Another cool thing that I'm really loving about the DJI Mic 2 is the visuals. The design looks so good, you guys. I absolutely love that they've gone for this transparent look. I think it's very unique and super cool. You also have up to 14 hours of internal recording, which is really great because it means that you can never lose your audio. You will always have a backup. The Sony ECM-W3 comes in at $468, which is the most expensive out of the lot. That's for 2 transmitters, the receiver, and of course you also have your charging case. What I do like about the design is how compact it is, and it is quite a sleek design. It's very lightweight as well. A unique thing about this mic is that it can be paired with any Sony camera via a shoe mount. So that means that your receiver can always get charged via your camera, which eliminates things like cables that, make tangles and stuff happen. So that is actually quite nice. The Hollyland Lark M2. This one is so teeny tiny. It's like a little button. And also what's very nice is that if you buy the whole combo package, which is what we have, it comes in at $179, but you also do get these tiny stickers that you can stick on to cover the logo if you wish, so that it becomes even more disguised. However, if you want to opt for the most affordable, that's at $139 and connects only to a USB-C. So if you're someone who likes to film and edit on the go on your phone, then this would be absolutely perfect for you. Which reminds me, if you are someone who uses your phone a lot and likes to download a lot of apps or use the internet when you're in public places, perhaps you need to connect to local Wi-Fi's and you don't feel 100% secure, then you might be in need of a VPN. You may have heard me talk about Hide.me in the past, but if you haven't, let me introduce you to them.
Hide.me is one of the fastest offshore VPNs with 24/7 support and cross-platform access. Enjoy 10 GB speeds across 2,300 servers globally. With this VPN, you can set your location to the US and access all the features the Google Pixel 8 Pro offers. You can also navigate the web with a trusted ally, SmartGuard, proactively guarding against malware, tracking, ads, and phishing threats in real time. Plus, they don't store logs, ensuring your actions remain yours. And the best part, you can start for free. Click the link in the description to secure your online freedom with Hide.me. Simple, secure, and yours.
The Rode Wireless Pro comes in at $399 for 2 transmitters, a receiver, and of course it also comes with a charging case and a bunch of accessories. What I personally don't love about the Rode is how chunky it is, especially when I compare it to the Hollyland over here, which is tiny. And also when you pop the Rode onto your clothing, sometimes it can pull down a little bit, especially because of its weight. It's a little bit on the heavy side. But of course it has a charge up to 7 hours, which is great, so I can't complain much. The Godox Virso M2 comes in at $249, and that's for 2 transmitters, the receiver, and a charging case. A cool thing is that if you go for the Godox Virso M2, you also receive a hot shoe mount that you can mount directly onto a Sony camera. So if you're a Sony user, this one might be very convenient for you. The Godox actually has a very impressive battery life of up to 13 hours on the transmitters and up to 17 hours on the receiver. And of course you have your charging case on the go, so it's extremely powerful. The only thing is that even though the design is similar to the Rode, it's a little bit chunkier, it is lighter because it doesn't weigh much, but listen to this. Very plasticky, so I don't know if I like that.
Overall, I'd say that every mic has slightly different strengths and it all depends on what your budget is and where you plan to use them. Although I'm a DJI fan myself, I have to admit that I preferred the Rode and the Sony, and if I had to choose, I'd most likely opt for the Sony as it has a more compact design. On the other hand, if you're looking for a more affordable option, then the Godox does perform relatively well. And hey, you can get a transmission range up to 500 meters away, so perhaps that's convenient for you. I also love how teeny tiny the Hollyland is, plus it's very affordable. However, I'm really not sure about its capability in busy outdoor environments, so that would probably be a no for me. Let us know in the comments which mic stood out to you the most, and which one would you consider purchasing? As always, give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe to be a part of our Versus community if you aren't already, as we would love to have you here. If you'd like to check out any of these devices, then check the description for direct links. With that being said, we will see you in the next video, and until then, take care.